Our presentation is about Ellis Island. We went there last week and took a tour, and we're going to describe some of the things we found out. First, Raisin now talk about the process, what it was like for immigrants to go through Ellis Island, and then Melissa going to talk about her family doing research into her background. Okay, so let's go to Grace first. Hi, I'm talking to the first part of the process of going through Ellis Island. The difference is that the immigrants had to go through. Okay, first, one important thing to remember is that Ellis Island was only used for the poorest immigrants, the third-class passengers. The first and second-class passengers were processed on the ship. Then they were taken to the docks where they got off, and then the ship was sailed on to the Ellis Island with the third-class passengers still on board. When they finally landed at Ellis Island, they put on all the clothes they owned because they were allowed to bring only one bag with their possession from the old country. People brought in all kinds of things like you would see musical instrument or samovars, pots for making tea. Some people brought earth from the old country too, or plants, vines for example, for growing grapes. Then the first place they got to was a dining hall where they would roll a meal that it was paid for by the steamship companies. People who came through Ellis Island always remember the meal. The food was pretty quite good. But it was also strange for many of them. Some people who had never tasted ice cream or seen an orange or a banana, for example. And then after that, the inspection began, and Arnie is going to tell you about that part. Arnie? Thank you. Okay. After the meal, the passenger would lead the bags and go up a staircase to the Great Hall. And as they walk past, inspectors would watch them carefully if they were weak or sick. If someone was sick, they would send them to the hospital. There was a hospital on Ellis Island well until they got better. They also detained children, young women, and old people traveling along. About 20% were held back, often for health reasons. But most released after a day or two or when someone came to pick them up. In Great Hall, they waited in line for hours, sometimes as long as 5 hours. They were crowded together, and it was often very hot and very cloudy. You can imagine as many as 2,000 people, all talking in so many languages. Then, when they finally got to the top of the line, the inspectors asked some questions like, "Where do you come from? Where are you going? Is someone waiting for you?" That kind of thing. And there were social workers and interpreters waiting with the inspectors, like helping people who needed to local relatives or whatever. Once they got past that part, the questions, people would go in one of three lines behind the inspectors. The first line was for the detention center if you were being held back. The second line was for the railroad ticket office, for the train station. And the third line was down the stair to the area where people were waiting. And there was a post there that was called the kissing post, because that was the scene of so many reunions. Husband met the wives and father met the children they hadn't seen in years, and then the immigrants went out, start a new life. So now I'm going to let Melissa talk about her family experience tracing their ancestors. Well, my great-grandfather came in from Ireland, and my aunt actually used Ellis Island records to do research and find out where he came from. So I'm going to talk a bit about that. Basically, what they have at Ellis Island is the ship records and the immigration information of every arriving passenger with like the date of they came in, the age, and the town they came from. So if you know, for example, your ancestor name, the year they arrived, or where he or she came from, you look at them up. So that's what we did. My aunt wanted to know more about her grandfather. My great-grandfather, he died before I was born, but apparently he was a great musician. He played the fiddle and sang at family events. Well, John knew that he come from Cork in Ireland, but she didn't know where in Cork because she never spoke about it. So John went to Ellis Island Records and she found my great grandmother's name and it gave the name of the town that she came from. So she went to Ireland and visited the town a couple of years ago. To get more information when she was there, and she finally find a living relative, a cousin that she didn't know she had. It was great because she had always wanted to know more about where the grandfather had come from. So that's all we had time for, but we hope that you enjoy our presentation. Thank you.